Welcome back to the channel. I'm Crypto Trend Trader, and today we're going to be taking a look at Litecoin. But before we get started, I just want to remind you this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile, so please trade at your own risk. Here we have Litecoin on the weekly, and we're looking at Coinbase chart today. And basically, you can see Litecoin was in a massive downtrend. Finally broke out of it, let us out of the bull run. But now here, I'm seeing people call this a cup and handle formation, forming on Litecoin. This is not a cup and handle. Okay, first things first, you could have called this a cup and handle. Maybe you could have called that a cup and handle. Yeah, that's fine. This a cup and handle. That's the cup. That's the handle. That's the breakout. Okay, this is the measured move. 100%. This was definitely a cup and handle, and it played out great. I mean, we almost hit the final target. That's awesome. But this is not a cup and handle forming right now, okay? Because what happens with a cup and handle is the handle needs to come back, and it can't come back and take up the entire cup. They have to be proportionate to each other. When's the last time you saw a cup with a handle bigger than the cup? All right, that's where Litecoin's at right now. That doesn't even make any sense. All right, you want to start actually looking at technical analysis and find something that makes sense. What does this look like? A big uptrend, relief rally, whatever you want to call it. What does this look like? You want to start calling out patterns, okay? Call one out that actually, like, at least makes a little sense or resembles what's happening at the time. You want to call this one. You want to call the pattern. Looks like a head and shoulders, maybe. That's a pattern. That's what that looks like to me. I mean, and again, if you watch any of my other videos recently, you see that, I think it's likely that actually, regardless of what happens here, if we do see continued dump, that we could actually see a little bit of an altcoin rally. Now, again, I'm not saying that I think that's going to happen necessarily, because I'm not really bullish on crypto right now. I was bullish before, but I'm not really bullish now. I mean, I think we topped out, and I think it's possible that we at least retest the bottom here, or near the bottom, or even go to lower prices. And again, if you take that measure move again, it seems to be working so well. If we get a little relief bounce right here, and we get a weak left shoulder, or right shoulder, I'm sorry, if we get a weak right shoulder, which I suspect we will, because typically that's what's going to happen. You're going to show weakness, so you'll get a little slope towards the downside. It's actually more likely to play out if we get a weak shoulder and then we come down. So what you would do is you would take a short off the break of the neckline. If we get the bounce, assuming this neckline even holds right now, we could just see continuation to the downside. But that target right there that's taking us to like $11, $11 to $20. That's a new low. That's lower. That's not even really. It should be from the neckline, from the break down. You know what I mean? Is really where the target should be. But I mean, if you start looking at where we've established actual support, like where there is support, I mean, talking about obviously down here, there's here, and look right where we're at right now. That looks like a pretty good support. So I think honestly what's likely to happen here is I think we've reached the bottom for now already on these altcoins. I mean, they've been leading Bitcoin. It was very clear that we were going to be dumping, but everybody was saying, oh no, it's just all the money coming out of the alts into Bitcoin. Correct. That's called distribution. Okay, so what they do is they pump the altcoins up, sell into you get distributed on, and then they turn around and do the exact same thing again with Bitcoin, and then you get distributed on again, or vice versa if you know what's going on. But I mean, that's the most likely scenario right now as far as I'm concerned. But no matter what happens with Bitcoin at this point in time, I think it's probably about time to start looking. And people thought I was crazy for a long time, but I think it's time to start. I think it's time to look down. I don't know. That's starting to look a lot more realistic to me than anything on the upside. I mean, it has been looking like that for a long time, honestly. Anybody that knows me knows, you know, I'm a realist. I love crypto. I believe in crypto 100%, but look, we're realistic too. When we come out of this, capitulated, that is not a very big move. Now, granted, that could be the wave one of our next upturn, but I mean, we didn't even make it to 382 on that. So that tells you this asset was extremely overvalued, because Bitcoin made it up over the 618. So that tells you that this asset had way more value at one point in time. So to way more people than it does now, because typically you're going to see a decent bounce. At least a 0.5 is expected for an asset that's not going to continue to sell off. So it is possible we come down here, we rally up, we put in a new high, and Litecoin leads us off again. If we make it to the 382, I mean, that's great. I think there's very likely going to be more upside potential for Litecoin. But as we sit right now, as Litecoin sits right now as one of the top cryptocurrencies as far as market cap, as far as you know, acceptance, and you know, just people knowing the name, and I don't know. It doesn't, at this point in time right now, this chart does not look promising. I mean, again, we could see a situation develop where we basically put in the 1, come down here, we put in our 2, either where we're at or somewhere in this region, and then come up. I mean, as soon as we break through here, we're automatically going to there. But realistically, you know, you want to see typically the 3 wave be longer than the 1, and a lot of times in crypto the 5 is at least as long as the 3. Typically the 1 wave is the shortest. So it is possible that we get something back into the 220 range, come back down, retest here, and then, you know, we could put in our 5 anywhere up here. That's possible. That would make this accumulation. This whole pattern would be accumulation, but boy, I'll tell you what, when I look at this stuff, honestly, I don't know, it doesn't look like accumulation to me. That looks like distribution. This looks like a relief rally to try to get unloaded position at a better price. And I think we may be looking at another small one, and then you know, a lot of downside potential. But that's it. That's Crypto Trend Trader taking a look at Litecoin. Hate to be bearish, but I'm just trying to actually use TA instead of people looking at basic patterns, having no idea how they play out, and then turning around and trying to convince other people on the internet that that's what's going to happen. And then the poor people that fall for it just because they have a computer and, you know, put out videos on the ray. Technical analysis is not learned overnight. You can learn it on the internet. You can learn it from a book. You can learn it from a mentor. There's lots of places you could learn it, but it takes a lot of time, and you have to constantly go back and be checking rules for things and probabilities, and it's different for every market, so there's not a ton of info out there that applies specifically to crypto markets. But just be careful what you're watching, because I see people saying $300 targets and new highs for Litecoin and this, that, and the other. And look, if you're seeing something in the chart I'm not, I would love to hear about it. But anybody knows how to do technical analysis, this does not look bullish. It looked bullish back here, looked bullish all through here, looked bullish the whole time we were calling it. It looked bullish still about $140, and then it looked like Dump City. And I haven't bought any Litecoin since then. I take it back, I did play a bounce, but it's not a bullish chart. Alright, that's it. Enough doom and glooming on Litecoin. Crypto Trend Trader, thanks for checking us out. Even if you don't agree with me, we'll see how this plays out in the next few months. I'll be curious to come back and take a look. And maybe I'll be completely wrong, and we did get the 5. We're getting the big moves coming up here. I mean, there's a lot of times along the way where you could determine, you know, I was wrong and still make a ton of money. That's fine. But I'm just looking at how it looks right now, and I think it's likely we get a little bounce. bounce here off this area, but this is essentially the pre-capitulation like zone. Anything below here is like capitulation area. So if we got a rally and then we go back into our capitulation area, that tells me we're going to see lower prices, or at least a retest of very, very close to the bottom. So I think it's very realistic that I'll be buying Litecoin again, you know, sub $25 if it looks bullish by then. But I don't think that, you know, people have been saying, oh, last chance to buy, last chance to buy. You mean last chance to sell? That's what it looks like to me. It looks like it's been last chance to sell for a while now. So, but anyway, that's it. Crypto Trend Trader signing off.